Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. Let us start with our Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Okay, so now we are on a fast track. So it's like, when the train leaves the downtown area and goes into the suburban area, then it picks speed. So like that, we are going to pick up speed because now we are leaving the sort of the dense area where we needed to, go slowly and get more passengers, in the sense like get more understanding, capture more concepts. Now we are going to go faster. Though it's not that these are less important topics, but given the model format of our course, we will take the time, or not take the time, but use the concepts that are available for chapter 11, 12, 13, 14, etc. to go faster through it, building on the understanding that we already have. I saw you were going to sit up, but then you decided to. Feel free to, sit up. Or
that's all right. I'll take it.
Be comfortable.
I am. Thank you. Thank you.
Should I just put it for whoever wants it?
Thank you very much. You're so kind.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Or you can use the cushions for the. I know the couches kind of sink in. I don't like those either.
Thank you.
Okay. So, chapter 11. Okay. So, what had happened so far is that in chapter 10, by the 11th verse, Lord Krishna concluded the core concepts of Bhakti Yoga. And he explained that the mood of a bhakta is to just have pure love for him, like a father or a mother has love for a child. And Arjuna is in that mood that he asks, I cannot stop. He forgets that there is a war impending. And Lord Krishna is going to remind him now in 11th chapter, like, don't go too far away into the woods of love. Come back. A war needs to be fought here. So anyway, so after hearing, okay, so we are all in the material world. We hear and we see. Of course, we smell and we touch and we taste, correct? Now, even if you look at today's technology, there's no technology on Zoom where you can smell. Maybe it will be there. There'll be some fragrance erupting output devices in the laptop, which will, or something will touch you with AR, VR. Maybe it is possible. We are going in that direction. All right. Or taste, you can't feed from here on Zoom. My children would love that. If mom can make food here and they kind of get it over there, on Zoom in college.
Patents have been filed for both, by the way.
Huh?
Patents have been filed for both, by the way.
Patents have been filed. There you go.
Smell and taste.
All right. So only taste, not for the belly.
No, it's only the taste.
Jivha Vegam, not Udara Vegam. We have studied this in Nectar of Instruction. Udara means, ultimately the stomach also needs to fill. Jivha means, okay, you get the taste. Too bad. Maybe the next few you can transmit DoorDash over Zoom. All right. So anyway, the point is, and even if you look at Star Wars, those holograms, ultimately it is seeing and hearing. That's the point, becoming more serious. Okay. Seeing and hearing are the two primary input sensors that we have. Okay, not touch, not taste, and not smell. Maybe for dogs, smell, yes, but not for humans. Are you following? Even video cameras or this, all the technology, the most of the sensory perception that we get from the material world, do you agree 90% of it comes through hearing and seeing? The remaining 3 are less. They are more personal, but from a broad perspective, they play a smaller role. What has Arjuna done in chapter 10? Heard. If you followed chapter 10, you saw Krishna explaining, I am among the mountain ranges, the Himalayas. So in your mind, you can imagine Himalayas. You hear Himalaya, and then you imagine in your mind. Mind is the strongest sense organ. It can do the function of all of these to some extent. Okay. So, and then the thing comes about seeing. So after hearing, the thing is Arjuna is very, very, again, coming back to the mood of Arjuna. Okay. Forget all the technology discussion and that we'd had. Arjuna is now saying, I want to see. I've heard, show me the same. Not just the same. So he's not going to just get a vision of beautiful Himalayas or the Ganges River or other things. But he says, show me your entire cosmic manifestation, the entire material world, not spiritual, the entire material world. Show it to me, please. And since he is a devotee, if he asks, if you are a devotee, like a small child, if he asks his dad, who is, big, running a big factory, he will honor that request. If a stranger comes and asks, then say, why, who are you? Why should I show you? Right? Even we who work in Intel are not allowed inside the fab, which is super secret. And, only the people who are allowed to see are allowed to go in, because all the, secret sauce happens inside. So you have to be qualified to get in. But if you are the loving child of a father, he'll say, okay, come on the ride. So Arjun makes a request to see the entire material cosmic manifestation, all of it. And he says it in one of the words, he says, ekastham, in one place, that show it to me, everything. Then Lord Krishna says, sure, I will show you. But if I compress all of this into one place, this big, gigantic material creation, you cannot tolerate it. It will be too much for you, because this entire material creation, though it is just a spark of Krishna's splendor, we read that in 10.41. Lord Krishna says, all this material creation is just a spark of my splendor. So even that spark is too bright for us to tolerate, to internalize. So Lord Krishna gives him what is known as Divya Drishti, special vision, special eyes, through which you can see. Just like, you see those people who deal with sparks, they put on, if you want to see, how many of you saw that solar eclipse in 2017? You had to put special, you can't even see the sun for more than 5 seconds with bare eyes. Your eyes will go blind. So what to speak of the entire cosmic manifestation, and not only just the brightness. To see the entire material cosmic manifestation, you need special, you can say, in instruments. You can't see like with your naked eyes. How much of the sky can you see? But with the Hubble Space Telescope and now with James Webb and all these, you can see. So they are nothing but, these instruments are nothing but extensions of our eyes. Okay, they're just bigger goggles. These goggles are $50. Those are $50 billion. That's the only difference. Ultimately, they are just goggles that allow us to see farther and better. So this is, you can think of it like, goggles, that special goggles that Krishna is giving to Arjuna to be able to see this cosmic manifestation. And then a large part of the chapter is description of what is being seen. Okay, so I did not get time for various reasons to prepare those orange colored slides, but I have slides that I will use from my previous year. So every year I try to make new slides. So right here. One second, just hold on. Okay, here they are. All right. I hope you can see the slide which says Bhagavad Gita Chapter 11.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, great. Thanks. So the structure of the chapter, where is that? I'll show this first. The structure of the chapter is like this, just so you get an idea. The first 4 verses are by Arjuna making this request, which is, as I explained, the mood is in the same continuation of 10th chapter. First he heard, now he wants to see. Okay. And then Lord Krishna in the next 4 verses, 5, 6, 7, and 8, says that I will give you special vision using which you can see. Then from 9 to 31, okay, so how many verses that is? 23 verses. Both Sanjaya begins to, since Sanjaya is narrating this to Dhritarashtra as he's like seeing, he also gets the Divya Drishti by Maharshi Vedavyas. So it's not just Krishna who can give, empowered souls like Vedavyas can also give special vision. So he also got special vision, so he can see. Others on the battlefield could not see this gigantic, what is known as the Vishwarupa form or the universal form. So Arjuna could see and Sanjaya could see. Both had received special vision. So Sanjaya, for these 6 verses, 9 to 14, describes what he is seeing, and then the scene transitions to Arjuna directly saying what he is seeing. So in the next 15 to 31, almost 16 verses, it's Arjuna's description. Okay, so that's how the chapter progresses from 1 to 8 and 9 to 31. Clear? So let us progress so please take out your books. I hope all of you have your books with you. Read the first 8 verses. There are a couple of important points I will make. I got a couple of spare books here. So please read the first 8 verses and then we will proceed. Okay, done. 8 verses. So, just a couple of important points. Since we are going fast, we do not have, there are other recordings. The 2021 batch is more detailed on YouTube. If you're interested, of course, you should go through the purport by Srila Prabhupada in more detail, where there you'll get a lot more details and a lot more relishment and understanding. Okay, so we'll cover it at a high level. Again, the intent is for generating your interest in the Bhagavad Gita and giving you sort of a basic understanding, which dispels or which removes some basic hurdles. What is going on here? Why this? Why that? Some very big questions are answered. So you kind of get a first overview, and then you are better enabled to go through it at a slower pace yourself. So that is my intent as we are going through these chapters faster. Clear? So in the first verse itself, Arjuna is not asking to see this universal form because he has any doubts anymore. In the first verse itself, he's saying, Moho yam vigato mama. Vigato means chala gaya. It is gone. Moha means, what is moha? I have told this many, many, many times.
Illusion.
Illusion. Moha means illusion.
Maya is illusion.
Yes, Maya is, we can, yes, Maya is real, but yeah, okay. So the question, if the question is Maya illusion? When you say Maya is an abstract word, let me just say material world. This material world around us, it's not illusion. Your bank balance is not illusion. If I say it's illusion, then why don't you just transfer the 1 followed by a few zeros to my account? It's illusion. I'll take your illusion from you. It's not illusion, okay? It's very real. Give me your Tesla. It's illusion. Our sense that that is the source of my happiness is what is illusion. That we can all see. It being the source of our satisfaction. This will give me satisfaction. This will give me satisfaction. This will give me satisfaction. Okay? That is illusion. Like you tell a small child, he just wants to eat candies all day or ice cream. He thinks that is the source of his happiness. What do parents tell? Indian parents, you study hard, this, that, don't waste your time. You think this is all happiness? No. There is higher happiness, long-term happiness you should care for. Parents say that to the child, isn't it? Same way. So if the child says, no, this is all I want to do all day, eat candies and ice cream, would you say he is in illusion? किस गलतफहमी में हो बोलते नहीं कहां फंस गए? That is illusion, because he considers that to be the only source of his happiness. Ice cream is very real, candy is very real, even the parent eats candy, but not that much. Are you clear? So there's a subtle difference. See, yeah, sometimes in classes we might say things like this in interest of speed or moving forward. That's why some serious study is needed to understand, and serious questioning is needed. Glad you asked that question. Okay, so he's saying moha means illusion. Okay, attachment to the material world is illusion, or attachment for gaining happiness. That is called illusion, but that is moha. So moha has been vigato mama. So it is not for that. We therefore come to know that it is for his enjoyment. He wants to see his loving Krishna and how he manifests in this material world. He wants to see that, and that is his enjoyment. We discussed that in the last class as well, why he wants to hear as well. Okay, that he says, I cannot stop hearing about you. So then we go forward, and couple of, I'm kind of skipping this. Then in the 4th verse, he says that if you think I'm eligible, he's an intelligent student, he's not completely dumb. If you think I am eligible, then please show. Okay. So which means, now again, he's not Krishna's child as such. Like I gave the example of the father and a factory and a child. Analogies shouldn't be extended too far. Get the meaning or the concept I'm trying to illustrate through the analogy, and there the analogy ends. Okay. So he understands that it's not possible for everybody to see the entire cosmic manifestation. It's not possible. There is some, or it's not possible for everyone. And when we just, I'll say any Tom, Dick, and Harry to see it. You need some eligibility to see it. Okay. Just like to enter Intel factory, you need eligibility. Just my blue colored badge is not enough. Even though I'm a full-fledged employee, still I'm not allowed. I need some eligibility. I need to be in a certain department, have a certain, level, then I can go in. So he understands that, and he is saying in a very humble way, if you think I can be allowed in to see this Aishwarya, in the third verse, he says, Rupam Aishwaryam Purushottama. Your Aishwarya. Aishwarya means your majestic opulence. Aishwarya. A normal citizen is not allowed in the king's palace. You need some eligibility. So he's saying, if you feel I'm eligible, please let me in. Okay. So some eligibility is needed to enter into the mystic or the Aishwarya of Bhagawan. Not mystic as in like some magic, but in the palatial or in the majesty of Bhagawan. Otherwise, we should stay where we are. All right. Then in the 5th verse, Lord Krishna starts speaking. And then in the 7th verse, he says, Iha ekastham. Iha means here. Ekastham, in one place. Ekastham, do you see that? Jagat kritsnam pashyadya sa characharam. That now I will show you everything in one place at one. So the entire material cosmic manifestation is going to be compressed in one place. So, and then in the 8th verse, he says that swa chakshusha, with your own eyes you cannot see. Therefore, he's saying divyam dadamite chakshuhu. So he is giving him what? Divya chakshu or divya drishti. All right. With divya chakshu, you can see. So then he is given divya chakshu. Clear? I'm going faster. Now, 9th verse. So please read 9 to 14, 6 verses. This is, Sanjaya is describing these verses. I won't be going into the details of each verse, but the point to get from all of these verses is that this entire material cosmic manifestation is very bhayanak or very ghastly, is a violent place. It's not a peaceful place. Okay, here everything on this tiny little speck called Earth. Yes, you may think, oh, I have a nice park, I have a nice river. Everything is peaceful. So the entire cosmic manifestation is not a peaceful, is not a very calm and cool place. It's a very violent place. That's point number 1. And point number 2, also because it's being compressed all into one vision. So with that background, please read these 6 verses. All right. Done. So in 11th verse, the last word is Anantam Vishwato Mukham. If you go back to verse 9.15, chapter 9, verse 15, I had told you in chapter 9, verse 15, that it's a very important verse. It's a verse which is basically, in computer science terms, we call it a pointer table. It's a table of pointers. So there we had, Lord Krishna had mentioned Ekatvena, Prithaktvena Bahudha and Vishwato Mukham. So first he had explained the demoniac people. Then he had explained, so 2 verses, 10 and 11, were about the demoniac mentality, Asurim Bhavam. And then the next 2 verses were about his pure devotees, 12 and 13. Sorry, 11 and 12, and then 13 and 14. Then he says there are others who approach me in these 3 large categories. Ekatvena means who approach me as the impersonal Brahman, the one absolute Brahman spiritual truth. Then Prithaktvena Bahudha, among as many other personalities who are separate from each other. So like the various Devis and Devatas and everybody else. So they approach me, and ultimately, this we had studied in chapter 7, that those who are approaching the Devis and Devatas are ultimately, where are they getting their power from? Krishna. So they are indirectly approaching me. We then discussed that in 7 and 9. Little bit later in 9th chapter, verse number 20 to 24, we had discussed the Devis and Devatas. And I had told you the third part is Vishwato Mukham. That is coming now. That had come briefly in the 9th chapter as well, from 16 to 19, right after that verse 15. Now it is coming in detail, and this exact word is there, Anantam Vishwato Mukham. So this is the Vishwato Mukham, the Vishwamukha form. Okay, so this material world is also considered to be the mouth of Krishna, or mouth of Lord Vishnu. Vishwato Mukham. The mouth means where he, so therefore it is said that whatever offerings we make are going to Krishna through the material world. That offerings we make, anything we make, it's going to Krishna. Anyway, so that's the connection from there, Vishwato Mukham, to here. So I wanted to highlight that. Okay. In the 13th verse, again you see this word, Tatra ekastham jagat kritsnam. Same exact language Sanjaya is using. That in one place I am seeing the entire cosmic manifestation. Jagat kritsnam. Kritsnam means complete. It's not Krishna, it's Kritsna, which means complete. Okay, so the complete cosmic manifestation I am seeing in one place, ekastham. So it's very, very bright and violent. Okay. So I just have some slides. If you say that, this is just a, painting by pictures, by devotees about this cosmic manifestation. Lord Krishna had shown in other instances as well how the entire universe is within Krishna. One very famous Lila you might have heard of, when Mother Yashoda looks into the mouth of Lord Krishna. She sees the entire universe. And then she faints. And then Lord Krishna makes her forget, because he does not want to leave Mother Yashoda with the feeling of Aishwarya Bhava. Because then after that, she cannot say anything to Krishna. If he's Bhagawan, if he's Aishwarya, how can you scold Bhagawan? You cannot chastise him. He wants that motherly love from Yashoda. He wants to play pranks, and he wants his mother to. So he makes her mother forget. So some people ask, she had already seen the form. So how does she, still chastise the Lord. I also know the Lord is great, but I will also chastise him. I'll play like mother. That's not correct. Okay, so we have not forgotten, but Lord Krishna made her forget. There is another instance. You can go listen in the longer class. This is from 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Markandeya Rishi, he also wants to see the universal form of the Lord. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Somebody will catch me and say, no, actually it is this. I agree, it is a little different, but in the spirit of making progress, I'm paraphrasing. So he also gets to see this violent cosmic manifestation of Lord. And there are few other instances, but I just wanted to show this. Now we can see this, this is what we would see if we are standing outside. When I say, where is the cosmic manifestation? Show me. What would you do? You would take me to a dark place in the night. Even in these days, from your cities, you cannot even see the Milky Way. How many of you have seen the Milky Way galaxy with your naked eyes? There's a joke that goes that, one time a lady, in Los Angeles, she went somewhere outside and then she looked up. She said, what are those dots in the sky? I thought there's only the moon. Did the moon burst and, all these dots? So basically, in Los Angeles, you never even see stars. So what to speak of the Milky Way? So, anyway, but I wanted to show that this universe is not a cool and calm place. It's pretty violent. All these things are going on. There's that, what is known as the Whirlpool Galaxy, Messier Object 51, M51 it is called. There was this astronomer called Messier. He spotted 110 different these things in the sky which were not stars or planets. And he gave them some numbers. And then when more powerful telescopes were built, they found out what each one was. M51 is very beautiful. I have seen it with my own telescope, directly, not just a picture, directly. I would like to say the photons coming from that galaxy actually entered my pupils, my eyes, not through a picture. The real photons from that galaxy entered my eyes. So I claim pride out of that. Anyway, you can see these things. This galaxy is eating up another galaxy. It's a massive galaxy which is sucking off mass from a neighboring galaxy. So it's just eating it live, pretty much. And I won't go through the others. There's the Crab Nebula, a very violent explosion of a star into a dense neutron star core. Anyway, recently, less than 10 years ago, physics says that there is this, collision of supermassive black holes. And then gravitational waves come from that. Even the fabric of gravity, the space-time is perturbed with that collision. And we sensed that. I mean, just a supernova explosion is not enough to generate that kind of perturbation in the space-time itself. If you're not understanding this, no problem. So all these things are going on. Okay, so the universe is a pretty violent place. I wanted to show you, or I wanted to sort of give you that sense. And if you condense all of it into one place, it's like we would all be dead. But Krishna managed to show it to Arjuna because he's Bhagawan. He can show whatever he wants. So that's the sense I wanted you to get. Again, beyond the universes, there are multiverses and all. This is a scientific picture. This is taken from a paper. There was a paper published where an artist showed how multiverses would look based on real physics. Obviously, you cannot take a picture of it, but whatever. Who knows? They will tell a few years later that this picture was wrong and they'll come up with a new one. Anyway, that's what, that's where we are. Okay, so we are back to our section summary. So then we will go to from 15 onwards. So I just have listed some bullets here, but I would like you to take few minutes, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes to read up to 31. Okay. So, or to read up to 30 or 31. Let's read up to 31. You will see these things. Arjun is describing now 15 onwards. Sanjaya's description it's not much different, just that Sanjaya was speaking. Now Arjun is speaking what he is seeing. Sanjaya was seeing and he was speaking. Arjun is seeing and speaking. And he is speaking about what he is seeing. First, 15 to 20, the vision, what he's seeing. Then the effect of that vision on the entire, others around him and so on. 20 to 23. 24, 25, he will speak of its on himself. What is the effect? He's getting very agitated and afraid. And then on the battlefield, he will see that all these warriors are dying and getting crushed to death. So all that sort of horrible, ghastly scene he sees. And finally, he tells Lord Krishna, please stop it. I cannot tolerate it anymore. Okay. And in 31, he asks a question. What is the Lord's mission? Why are you showing me all this? Not why are you showing me all this, but he only asked, why are you that to see it, but what is it that I am seeing? Why are these people getting crushed? What's going on? What's your purpose? He knows that Lord, in that vision, Lord is showing him things that he wants Arjun to see. So he is asking these specific things. Why are you showing me? What is the purpose? And that is Lord Krishna's intention to bring him back to the battlefield. To say that you have a battle to fight, please, let's move forward. Okay. So take 3-4 minutes and read up to 31 and correlate it with these bullets that I am showing on the screen. Okay. Done? Just half a minute more. Okay. Yeah, maybe. See which switch it is. Okay. Okay. So as you can see here, Arjuna is saying that in verse number 17, your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence. Durnirikshyam. So Durnirikshyam means that it is very, very Tejo Rashim. This Tejo Rashi means glaring. Tejo Rashi means effulgence or rays. Are very, very bright, and I'm unable to see what's going on. It's like very bright. And yeah, I think you read most of it. I don't have any main significant points to mention here. But yeah, there's not much that I have marked. But as you can see, Lord Krishna is showing him this form, especially in verse number 26 and 27. He's saying all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, including Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our side also, on our side, Pandava's side, are rushing into your fearful mouth. Arjuna is seeing that they are getting crushed. Some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. So like that he is seeing. Okay. And then in the last verse 31, he says, I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. So Arjuna is asking what is Lord Krishna's mission, or why is he showing him this ghastly vision or this form? Okay. So yeah, we will come to this later. So let me stop the screen sharing. Yeah. So that was the vision that he saw. And then Lord Krishna says, so I will read these next 3 verses. Time I am, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, or the Lord says, time I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So the important point to note here is that the decision has already been made. He is Bhagavan. Arjuna has no doubt about it. Others may have doubt about it. Duryodhan still believes he can win. Before the war begins, he knows, he's pretty sure he will win. But that is not the reality, and who cares if the criminal thinks that, he'll come out victorious. Okay, what matters is what the judge says. So here our judge is Lord Krishna. He is the supreme judge. So he is saying that everybody will be killed. So that is the important point to note. And Arjun fully realizes that Lord Krishna is the supreme Lord, the supreme judge. If he wants something, nobody can stop that from happening. So he is completely convinced about that. So that is not the point that he is trying to question. Oh, Krishna is saying X. Maybe 80% chance X will happen, but 20% it may not happen also. No. If Krishna is saying X, how much chance that it will happen? 100%. So Arjuna is convinced about that. So that is what Lord Krishna is saying, that I have already killed them, or all this, or will be slain. In the next line, you will see Lord Krishna is saying, therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. So it is a figurative way of saying, once the judge has said, it's as good as done. Now, all what you need is the execution of that to happen. So when a judge gives a capital punishment, let's say it's the Supreme Court or whatever, the highest that we know. Yes, here we know we can appeal this, but all said and done. Does the person who is executing, whatever, I don't want to make it too graphic, but who is pulling the lever on the gallows, as we say, you following what I'm saying? Does he have any say in the matter? No. What if he says, no, I'm not going to pull the lever? What's the judge going to say?
Somebody else.
Yeah, you're like a, low level, pawn. If you don't want to do the job, get out. I'll find somebody else to do the job. So what is that person? That person is simply an instrument in the overall plan. That is exactly what Krishna says in the last line. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. Savyasachi is Arjuna. That's another name for Arjuna. Nimitta matra bhava. Just an instrument. Judgment has already been passed. If you want to be a faithful soldier or a faithful employee of the government, do as the judge is saying. Otherwise, you'll be like kicked out. We'll find a new employee who will be favored by the government. In other words, do you want to receive the credit? That is just again government and this and that example, in that example. But here it's Krishna's judgment. Do you want to have the credit of carrying out my plan? Or do you want to do your own little thing? What are we all doing? Based on all the Bhagavad Gita discussions we've had, what are we doing? Are we faithfully following Krishna's instructions, or are we trying to do our own thing? Which one? Huh? Trying to follow Krishna's instructions?
Not yet.
In the process.
Yeah, we're trying to do our own thing, isn't it? So that is what Krishna, that is the instruction to be received from this. There is Krishna's plan, and we are supposed to follow, play a role in his plan, not make our own plan. We are actors. The director has given the script. We are supposed to enact. We can put our own color in that. We can put our own expertise in that. But we're not supposed to go off script. That is when we'll be called a good, then everything will be nice. So that is what Lord Krishna is saying here in the 33rd verse. This last line is very important. Nimitta matra bhava. My plan cannot change. Don't think that you can change my plan. Lord Krishna is not saying that, but that's the meaning we should, we can't change the plan. We should align ourselves to Krishna's plan. And that is what Krishna's instruction to all of us is. Be an instrument in Krishna's plan that will make him happy. Okay. All right. And then in the next verse, Lord Krishna is saying, everybody will be slain. All the big generals. If one has doubt, wait a minute, there is Bhishma and Drona on the other side, like invincible, literally invincible. Lord Krishna is directly saying Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and all the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. I am giving you an order. You want to be part of my plan? Welcome. Otherwise, you'll be, again, one of those people who want to do their own thing. You may derive some temporary pleasure out of it. That's what we are doing. Deriving some temporary pleasure, but long term, it won't be suitable for your happiness. Because the highest happiness is in Krishna's happiness. When we are aligned with Krishna's plan, that is the highest happiness. So you won't get that because you're not aligning yourself to my plan, Krishna is saying. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Okay. So that is the vision of the universal form. Now comes Arjuna's prayers. So on seeing this universal form, now here is Arjuna's response. And Arjuna's response is in the form of 4 aspects. So I will share the screen again. (36 to 46). I will again request you to read these verses 36 to 46. So Arjuna is glorifying Krishna for his wonderful form and paying obeisances to him, like his pranam to the Lord. He's seeing a whole different form of the Lord. So now it's not that when Arjuna started hearing the Bhagavad Gita, that is when he was in any illusion that Krishna is not Bhagawan. He knew it. Okay. But still he had this illusion in chapter 1 that I don't want to fight. Anyway, now the understanding that Arjuna had of Krishna was of a loving friend. You will see here in 41 to 44, apology. Apology for being a friend. He's saying, oh my God, it's like this, out of some reason, let us say that, I don't know, maybe, you're going to school and you have a friend, a casual friend. And suddenly, like after some time, then you go other ways. This has actually happened, I think. I read this in history somewhere, I can't place it. Then this other person, friend, becomes a king of a country. Some country, I can't remember, I think it was some European country. And then this person, wait, this person was in my school, he was my classmate. So that because he was the son of such a powerful person, it was kept secret. And then later on, he became king. Then oh my God, my friend who I used to, live with, and he was my roommate. I didn't know he was the king, the future king of this big country. Like that, you may have a realization, right? So then like this, that is Arjuna's mood. Oh my God, I thought, yes, you are the Lord, but I saw you as the sweet Lord. But on seeing this ghastly vision, he gets this shock, or this comes to this realization, what a gigantic Lord he is, and even the most violent things are within the same Lord. And then he submits an apology that I treated you like a friend. I slept with you on the same bed. I ate with you. As you were eating, I would eat. What do? We first offer to Bhagawan, and then later we eat, right? So first we let him eat. We don't eat together with him. So he's going to make apologies for all those reasons. That please forgive me, I treated you like a friend, but you are God. So that is the apology aspect. He's realizing the Aishwarya Bhav. He's right now in Aishwarya Bhav, as we say. That whole Madhurya Bhav has gone out of the window. No longer Madhurya. Now Aishwarya. Please. So in that mood, he is giving an apology. And then request is that finally he says, please stop. I don't want to see this anymore. And then he says, I want to see your Chaturbhuja form. We will come to that in 46. Your four-handed. You are Vishnu. And we all know Vishnu, how many, not two-handed form. Vishnu is four-handed form. So he says, I want to see your Chaturbhuja Roop. So that's a very beautiful request. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in the, on the battlefield, the Lord also shows him his what we see as the Vishnu form as well. And then he will say some very sweet things. So we will come to that. So please read from 36 to 46, these 11 verses, and just map it to these points. "35 onwards, actually, not 36, 35 onwards. Obeisances means pranams, or offering homage. Done? 30 more seconds. Okay. All right. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter from my slides. So I'll stop sharing. And few salient, couple of points I wanted to bring out here. So in verse number 35, the last line, Srila Prabhupada from the purport, I just wanted to point out that as we have already explained, I'm just reading the purport of Srila Prabhupada from 35, verse 35. Because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjun became bewildered in wonder Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna again and again, and with a faltering voice he began to pray, not as a friend but as a devotee in wonder. So this is from Sakhya, friend, Sakhya Bhava. He is moving to Aishwarya Bhava. Just like that analogy I gave of a friend. And then he realizes, oh my God, all these years I was living with a future king. Okay. Then he in 41 and 42, you can see how he is apologizing for being a friend, for being too friendly to a king or to this great personality, the Supreme Lord. And then he says, please, like a small child, father forgives the child, please forgive me for all the, sometimes, the child even kicks the father and this and that. Father very sweetly forgives, or not even forgives, just doesn't even take offense. So like that, please forgive me, and you are the Supreme Lord. Then in 45, he says that Bhayena cha pravyathitam manomi. Bhayena, I am very afraid. Please stop this ghastly form. So my mind is very disturbed, he says. And therefore, please end this form. And then 46 is a very beautiful verse where Arjuna is making his request. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhami tvam drashtum aham tathaiva. So with chakra and gada, kiritinam means with a helmet, big. Krishna's helmet is small, like when you go into the official. So Vishnu form is the official form of Krishna. So you're no longer in your shorts and t-shirt. Then you have to dress up perfectly. So that is the Vishnu form. Same person, different attire. So with a big helmet, kiritinam, gadinam chakrahastam, with the gada and chakra, and then in other two hands, padma and shankha. So those are the four things he holds in his hands. Tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. This sahasrabaho vishwamurti, this vishwarupa form with thousands of hands, I don't want to see. Come to your chaturbhuj, 4 hands form. Sahasrabaho, oh 1,000-handed form. Please convert yourself to the I want to see the chaturbhuja form. Okay. Let us see Lord Krishna's response in 47. Now some very beautiful 47. So as you can see, we moved pretty fast. In 1 hour, we covered 46 verses. We have never done that before so far. Again, this was like a fast chapter. But now again, we'll take a little moment and slow down, because some very sweet things are going to come, sweet, as well as a lot of concept, tattva. You can get to understand how to see or how to know Bhagawan. Very important, very, very important. So please pay very careful attention. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So, he says that first Lord Krishna says, you can see a Maya prasannena tava arjunedam, that out of prasanna, out of my happiness, rupam param darshitam atma yogat, this Vishwarup that I have shown you, for what was my reason to show it to you? Lord Krishna is revealing here, because I was happy with you. You are my dear devotee, you are my dear friend. So I showed you prasannena. Okay. And then he says, Tejo mayam vishwam anantam adyam yan me tvad anyena na drishta purvam. That I have shown you something na drishta purvam. Nobody has seen this before. So things that I'm showing you have not been seen before, because Lord Krishna very rarely shows it, and devotees are rare. Normal public is plenty. So only very Few devotees have seen this. He says, never seen. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that some others have seen. So it's like it's a figurative aspect that nobody has seen, or very, very few people have seen. Like his own mother had seen in his mouth. And also there is this Duryodhan had seen a universal form as well. Not on the battlefield, but when Krishna goes to make peace. You're never supposed to capture the messenger, are you? Messenger, we say, hey, I'm just a messenger. We say that, don't shoot the messenger. Even in the Vedic system, you're never supposed to capture or kill the messenger. That is also what, when Hanumanji went to Lanka and destroyed the Ashok Vatika, Ravan said, kill him. Vibhishan, said, he wanted to save Hanumanji, and of course Hanumanji would have never been killed, but he says, never kill a messenger. Then Ravan says, okay, fine, burn his tail. Oh, actually he had not burnt the Ashok Vatika till then. That's when he goes and he had destroyed the Ashok Vatika, but then he goes and burns Lanka with his tail. So all that Ramayana story. So messenger is not supposed to be killed, but when Duryodhan, when Lord Krishna, this shows he's an even bigger demon than Ravana. He said, I will capture you and kill you to Krishna. Krishna says, Krishna gets mad at him. Really, you want to capture me? And come on, capture me. He shows his universal form, and everybody just like a small puppy, you try to capture it on the street. If it immediately turns into a lion, what would you do? You'll just immediately back off. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Don't mess with him. So he showed a universal form. And also Lord Krishna's intention not to protect himself or anything like that, but also to finally give him one last chance that don't mess with me or my devotees. I came here to make an offer of peace. This is your absolute last and final chance to take it. Take it or lose it. So that was Lord Krishna's intent of showing a universal form, but it was not full universal form. It was a partial universal form. Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the purport. Anyway, so na drishta purvam should not be taken completely literally, but Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that this is extremely rare to see. Okay. Now you will see how rare it is. So verse 48 is a very important verse. So that is the continuation, that na drishta purvam, which nobody, or another way to translate it could have been, hardly anybody in the past has seen it. Why? Answer is in next verse. Okay. So what is the next verse? 48. Na veda yagya adhyayanaira na danai na cha kriyabhir na tapobhir ugraihi evam rupam shakya aham nriloke drishtum tvad anyena kuru pravira. I hope you get some sense, you got some words out of it. There's a lot of na in this. Na. Did you hear that? What? Na veda yagya. Yagyas as per the Vedas, by doing a lot of those Vedic yagyas, not by that. Adhyayanaira. Adhyayan means jnana yoga. Too much, Adhyayan, Vedas, study and all that. Na. Danai, na. Not by doing acts of charity, all these good pious activities. Na cha kriyabhir. All these activities of charity, etc., will not help. Na tapobhir ugraihi. Ugra means like severe, like Hiranyakashipu. Severe tapasya he did, till the extent that only his skeleton remained. Finally, Brahmaji had to come. Bhaiya, kya chahiye tumko? Chalo. He was doing tapasya of Brahmaji. Ravana also. He was ready to cut off. He was cutting off all his heads and offering to Lord Shiva. Finally, when his last head was remaining away, wait. What do you want? That is called Ugra Tapa. Following? So, na tapobhir ugre. That's why they have to worship Lord Brahmaji and Shivaji. Lord Narayan doesn't, there's no such incident in the Puranas where Lord Narayan is pleased by any of this Ugra Tapa. Okay. Even if there is Ugra Tap, there has to be bhakti in it. The bhakti is why Lord Narayan appears. Not Prahlad, Dhruva also did tapa. But what was he chanting? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. That was the mantra that was given by Narad Muni. Okay. Evam Rupam Shakya Aham Triloke. That this form that you have seen is not visible by any of those na. So that is what he's saying. You cannot get it by that. So that is what 48 is saying. It is saying what 48th verse is saying, that it cannot be seen by any of those means. Now later it will be revealed what is the criteria for seeing it. Obviously we know that Lord Krishna has already mentioned, because I am pleased with you, with who you are. And Arjuna has not done any of those things. Just that he is a bhakta. Okay. Then 49th verse. So we will read it quickly. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now, let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form that you desire. Okay. So then Sanjaya says, 50th verse, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken this to Arjuna, displayed his real four-handed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. So, Itya Arjunam Vasudevas Tatho Tatha Uktva Swakam Rupam Darshayamas Bhuyaha. So he showed him his Swakam Rupam. Swakam Rupam, he's referring to the Chaturbhuja form, his original four-handed form, his official form in which most people know Vishnu. Okay, many people don't even know that Krishna is Vishnu. Now it may sound like a surprise, but many people don't know. Vishnu they know, more people know. So, and finally in this one verse itself, so in this one verse, for 50th verse, Lord Krishna has shown the four-handed form and come back to the two-handed form. What is this two-handed form? Called as Saumya Rupa. Last line is Bhutva Punaha. Again, Punaha means again, which means he started from that two-handed form. At the beginning of 11th chapter, it started with two-handed form. Punaha, again, Saumya Vapur. Saumya Vapu means, Vapu is referred to a form or a body. That's the literal meaning of Vapu, is a body. But the form, Saumya form, the most gentle. Saumya means gentle. Or the pleasing form, Lord Krishna returned to it. Okay. So now Arjuna is happy. So now we will see how happy Arjuna is. So Arjuna says, so now 51 to 55, 5 verses, again, very important. We'll go through it a little slowly to get you to understand the essence or the concept. So, Drishtva idam manusham rupam. Manusham rupam doesn't mean that human form. It is human-like form. Okay, which means two-handed form. So that is the meaning here. So Saumya Rupam is there in the previous verse. Punaha is also there. Just to make sure that we understand which form is being referred, it is the human-like form, like us. Krishna looks like us, two-handed form. Tava Saumyam Janardana. So, which is very Saumya, he came back. Idanim asmi samvrittaha sachetaha prakritim gataha. And Arjuna is saying that now I am very happy. And sachetaha prakritim gataha. Sacheta means now I am back in my senses. Now I can think properly. Sacheta. Cheta means mind. Now my mind is working. Otherwise, when you are in a shock and panic, mind stops working, isn't it? Sometimes people say, they can't even type 911. There's so much in, like, if a robber comes in and, is middle of the night and you grab your phone, it's hard to even type 911. So much, like, it sounds so easy. But in that panic, even the simplest of things, your mind just stops. So now he's the same thing. He's saying that now I have come back to my senses. My mind has started working. Okay, so now Arjuna is happy. Now Lord Krishna starts speaking in 52nd verse onwards. Shri Bhagawan Uvacha. So Su Durdarsham, very important word. Su Durdarsham. Darsham means to see. Dur means it means the opposite of anything. Okay, we say swabhava and durbhava, means good behavior or bad behavior. Dur means bad of anything. So darsham, durdarsham means cannot see. See, cannot see. Su durdarshan means very, very cannot see at all. Su means puts an emphasis on the whole thing. Su durdarsham, just not possible to see. Idam rupam. So what roop is Lord Krishna referring to here? This roop, this Saumya roop, this Krishna form. Okay. Finally, that is what he is seeing. He has returned to his Krishna form. And even the Vishnu form also. And to a certain extent, the Vishwarupa form also. But Krishna form is the hardest for somebody to realize that, yes, this is the same Bhagawan. So anyway, whether it is the Krishna form or the Vishnu form, it is Su Durdarsham. Very, very hard to see.
I'm sorry, but his Krishna form with two hands, two arms, the entire army is seeing that. When he would walk on the street, people would see him. When he went and saw the Kauravas and
seeing with the realization that this is Bhagawan.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have fought the war. Duryodhan wouldn't have ordered to capture him. Okay. Bhagawan is present even here right now. We cannot see him. He is present here. Right now he is present. Right now he is present here. Everywhere he is present. Can you see him? We cannot. So he is present. In the same way he is present, yes, little more visibly. But if you think that he is just an ordinary person, then you miss the whole point. Okay, so that is how it is to be understood. This form as realizing that this is Bhagawan. Otherwise, so many even demons saw the Vishnu form as Vishnu. So many demons saw. They also did not realize him as Vishnu. Even they saw. What great punya had, or what great bhakti had demons done to see the Vishnu form. So the same logic applies. Lord Krishna in this pastime, yes, he was walking around on earth. But so was Lord Vishnu also visible to so many demons. But they cannot be said as having seen the Lord with that realization that he is Bhagawan. That is why they try to attack him. Are you following? So, Drishtvan asi yan mama deva apya asya rupasya nityam darsha akankshinaha. So those who know that this is Bhagavan, like the devatas and all, are always desiring to see Bhagavan. Always akanksha, they always have a desire, but they cannot see. And sometimes, and that is why all the devatas and all take birth when the Lord appears. That is his special mercy. that the Lord appears like Lord Jagannath. In another 2 weeks, there is going to be Jagannath Rath Yatra in Puri. This is special mercy of Bhagawan. There is no other form of Lord Krishna where he comes out of his temple. Only Lord Jagannath comes out of his temple every year to make himself visible to even those people who don't want to see. They are just going about their business on the street. So that is Lord's mercy. Sometimes he appears outside of his palace or outside of his place as a special mercy. So yes, those who could see Krishna even without realizing at that time, they were lucky. But they are in a very, very small minority. Okay. So even the devatas it's so rare for them even to see this form which you have seen. Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. Now again the very similar verse 53, very important verse. Now all these verses are going to increase in their importance. So how can you not be seen? Na aham vedair na tapasa na danena na che yajjaya. So what are the, again you can see a lot of nas. Na aham vedair, na aham, which means I cannot be seen by, let's see what is it, vedair, by the study of the Vedas. Na tapasa, not by tapa, like those ugra tapa was used in the previous verse. Na danena, by all these activities of dan, charity, etc. Not even by ijjaya. Ijjaya means by various acts of sacrifices and worship and all those things. Shakya evam vidho drishtum drishtvan asi mam yatha. I cannot be seen by any of these methods. Yes, you can go to Swarga, you can go to higher planets, you can get even impersonal liberation by Jnana Yoga, by Dhyana Yoga. We have discussed impersonal Brahman liberation, but you cannot see Bhagawan. You cannot go to Vaikuntha or Krishna Loka and see Bhagawan. You can get spiritual liberation, like Brahman realization. You can quit the material world and go to the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, but you cannot see me. How can you see me? 54th verse. Bhaktya ananya shakya. Ananyaya shakya. Shakya means possible. Previous verse was na shakya. Shakya evam vidho drishtum. So there was the na there. You cannot see. Now how can you see? By ananya bhakti. Ananya bhaktya ananyaya shakya. It is only possible to see me by ananya bhakti, not by any of those methods of jnana and tapa. Or, so those are referring to the three processes. The study of the Vedas is jnana yoga. The ugra tapa is dhyana yoga. You have to even stop your breathing. We discussed that in dhyana yoga. That's the ultimate level. Okay. That state of samadhi, it is called. There are 8 stages. It's known as the Ashtanga Yoga. The last stage is samadhi, where you even completely is as good as, like, you can say, medically dead. Samadhi state. Not by that also you cannot see me. Not by Jnana Yoga or by Karma Yoga, various sacrifices and all those things, yagyas. No. By which yoga can you see me? Bhakti. Directly the words, I'm reading Sanskrit here, I'm not making it up. Ananya Bhakti. Aham evam vidho Arjuna. Like this I can be seen. And seeing means what? Now here is the answer to your question, Prabhuji. It's not just seeing, though he says there, Aham evam vidho Arjuna, and it's about seeing. Please focus on the last 2 lines. Gyatum drishtum cha tattvena. You cannot see my tattva, or this is how you can see the tattva. Praveshtum cha parantapa. You can enter into my tattva, which means you can really know who I am. A boy is walking with a flute in his hand. I have seen thousands of boys with flute in their hand. Okay, fine, throw in a peacock feather also. Big deal. We do dramas every Sunday in the temple. So many little children, mothers dress them like that. What's the big deal? Anybody can be Krishna. Go to a costume store. So here is the answer. Gyatum drishtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Seeing in a way that you can enter into my, I'm using just very literal translation, pravishtena, praveshtum, to enter into my tattva. To really understand that, oh my God, this person that I am seeing is Bhagawan. Has anybody seen Bhagawan in front of their eyes? You may have seen a picture. You may have heard about him, but seeing Bhagawan in front of you, that is really seeing. Otherwise, Bhagawan may cross in front of your eyes and go, and you may think he is just a boy. That is not seeing. Fine, that is seeing at some level. But this is the seeing which is possible by Ananya Bhakti. This is the seeing which is not possible by other methods. I'm just telling you what Bhagavad Gita is saying, okay? I'm not adding any mirch masala to it. Are you following? Last verse, 55. Very, very important verse. Therefore, what should we do? Finally, what is the practical meaning for us? So this is theory so far. Practical meaning comes. Mat karma krin or mat karma krit. Sanskrit mein krit becomes krin. So one who does my work. Mat karma, my work. My work means what I have said. Isn't that what we just discussed? My plan. You want to run your own plan, or you want to be a, you want to get the credit of, following my plan. Like sometimes, father has a business. Son says, no, I don't want to take care of father's business. I'll go do my own thing. Assuming that's the good thing. I'm not trying to make a movie plot or, yeah, it's a good thing, self-made. Fine. That's not the analogy. Again, don't extend the analogy. So father will think, you want to do your own thing or you want to be part of my thing. Okay, fine. Do what you want. So that's what mat karma krin. Be part of my plan. Don't try to do your own thing. Don't go off script. Mat paramo means who makes me the goal of his life. Mat considers me to be the greatest. Mad bhaktaha becomes my bhakta. Sangha vivarjitaha. Sangha varjitaha. Varjitaha means gives up other kinds of association. Wants to be your own director. Or is collaborating with others. Forgetting me. Okay, so again, please keep in mind, Sangha Varjitaha doesn't mean leave your family and all. Bhakta doesn't mean leave your, family. Till the last moment, Arjun stayed married. If you remember, Arjun, the Pandavas, Draupadi, they all went to the Himalayas all together. So Bhakti doesn't mean that you have to give up family. Nowhere. I hope that is clear so far. Actually, Bhakti is the only one. In other two paths, Jnana and Dhyana, you have to, the first thing. The first step in Jnana Yoga is sannyas. Real seriousness in Jnana Yoga starts with sannyas. In Bhakti, sannyas is optional. Yes, there are some sannyasis, but it's optional. There are so many grihasthas who are topmost bhaktas. Okay, so giving up family is not a requirement at all. It's not even a nice to have. It's as equal an option as grihastha. Sangha varjitaha. Nirvaira. And it's not just about me, and you be a jerk to others. I'm a great devotee. Hey, you're a rascal. You're an idiot. I'll slap you around. No. You have to be a good person as well. Just being my devotee doesn't mean like, like a small child, I love my papa, but I go on being a bully outside. No, you have to be a good citizen. Nirvaira, vair bolte hain na Hindi mein, vair means like a animosity or any kind of bad feelings towards others. Nirvaira, towards others. Sarva bhuteshu, to all living entities, no vair. Okay, which means being a good person. Yaha sa mameti Pandava, he comes to me, my dear Arjuna. Pandava is referring to Arjuna. So these are the practical things. Now that one knows that first you have to know Krishna through Ananya Bhakti, in Tattva, in a sense. One who knows this, he does these things. He does in Ananya Bhakti, these are the things. Okay? 3 primary things are given. Mat karma krin, mat paramo, mat bhakta. Sangha varjitaha. So, exclusive bhakti to me and give up bhakti to others. Bhakti to others means bhakti towards, paisa, all those bhakti to other things. Ahankar. Sangha varjitaha and nirvaira sarvabhuteshu. Plus being a very, very, very good person to all other living entities. Being a good son and being a good brother. Because father loves all his children equally. So father will never just say, be a good son to me and go and, bully with your brothers. So be a good brother to others. Then you can come to me. End of chapter. Okay, so the tattva, the essence to understand here is that you cannot know Krishna by all other processes. Yes, you may be able to get impersonal Brahman moksha, but there is a higher level that can only be attained by Ananya Bhakti. Okay, so that is the end of chapter. Any questions or comments?
In this chapter, there were several verses that said, or at least 2, that when Arjun saw Krishna in the full form, that even Shiv was inside
Yes.
that form. So even Shiv is a demigod. Shiv is not as equal a god as Vishnu. Is that
Okay,
correct?
okay, so that's a very loaded. So the question, I don't know if on the Zoom it was heard. Essentially, the question is, what is the position of Lord Shiva? Who is Lord Shiva in relation to Lord Vishnu? Above, equal, low, side, how much to the side? Okay. Essentially, that's how the question is. Okay. So that's a heavy question. And Lord Shiva is not, I will not say that he is a demigod. Now, let me clarify that, okay? In many places in the purports by Srila Prabhupada, you will see that he is calling Lord Shiva as demigod. But that word demigod is a more expanded, you have to understand what Srila Prabhupada is writing and sort of the way in which he is trying to convey. Anyway, when we say demigod or Devi Devata, demigod is an English word. I'll use Hindi or Sanskrit words, Devi Devatas. Lord Shiva is not considered as a Devi or a Devata. He is almost at the same level as Lord Vishnu. Okay. And there's a very beautiful verse in Brahma Samhita which says that he is a different person. He is not Lord Vishnu. So one thing is very clear, there are 2 different persons. Like Lord Vishnu and Krishna or Rama, they are the same person, just different attire, different roop. Okay. When my son came from college, he had all this big beard and all because he hadn't shaved for 2 months. And then his mom forced him to shave. So, now he's a different person. Whenever I look at him, I'm like, okay, looks different. So same person, different looks. But Lord Shiva is a different person. In the Brahma Samhita, there is a beautiful verse which says that yogurt and milk, would you say they are the same or different? Same essence, but there is difference also. And this is coming from Brahma Samhita. So this analogy is not made up by me or anybody mortal. This is coming directly from the Lord himself. And where he is giving in one line Shiva Tattva. So we will leave it at that. We will deal with this question at a different time, not the right time to go into the depth. These are the kind of deeper questions that we want to deal with in our other sort of deeper classes. We can do a whole 1 hour discussion on position of Lord Shiva. And when we say Lord Shiva, there are various Lord Shivas. We say Shivji. Okay, Shivji, Shiv. Mandir mein gaye, Shivji, Shivling. It's not that simple. Okay. It's not that simple. You say, okay, like in science, you may say, everything is made of atoms. Atoms. Okay, atom. Atom is not an atom. Atom is also made of something. It's also made of protons, electrons, neutrons. Even that is not correct. Then you have to further go down into the standard model, quarks and leptons and muons. Head begins to hurt. So similarly, there is a difference between Shiva, Shambhu, and Rudra. Now, how many of you had not known? These are just okay. This is like Shiva, Shambhu. Depending on which prayer you are singing, which word rhymes more, you can either use Shiva or Shambhu or Rudra. I also had that understanding 10 years ago. No, each of these has a different meaning. There are 13 different Rudras. Not even one. And then there is Sadashiva, who is different from all these. So one has to understand there is, deeper understanding that is available in our Vedas. And what is the meaning of Lord? Who is Lord Shiva? Some people say Mahavishnu or Lord Vishnu comes from Shiva. Oh, that means Shiva is higher, right? If Vishnu is coming from Shiva, Shiva is higher. Actually, that is correct. Even Vaishnavas believe that. Mahavishnu of the material world, who is known as Karnodakshayi Vishnu, comes from Sadashiva. So again, my intent was to give you sort of a very, very big picture. I haven't connected the dots. At least I have shown you there is not one dot. There is a bigger fabric that you need to synthesize in your mind. It's not a straightforward answer. Okay. And to a certain extent, even I am not an expert in such deep topics. Who am I? I have done maybe 10, 15 years of study. That's all. I cannot claim to be an expert in all these topics. That's like asking even a top professor of mathematics. He doesn't even know all the physics, chemistry, biology. It's not possible. Okay. So that is just a little bit of a clue to that answer, that there is more behind it. It's not so simple. It's not just ABCD. We like to think, oh, this person who lives in this house, he's my friend. This person, not such a good friend. Very straightforward, cut and dry. Oh, he has 3 cars. So he's richer. He has 1 car. He is poorer or less rich. Very cut and dry. It's not that cut and dry. Okay. That's at least the sense I wanted to give you. Also coupled with that very important verse on Shiva Tattva in Brahma Samhita. They are the same. At the spiritual level, both are spiritual entities. Devis and Devatas, others are not spiritual entities. Ganesh ji, even Brahma ji, they are not. They have a birth and a death. Shivaji is, or Sadashiva from the spiritual world is eternal. Okay, Kalpataru Mataji has a question, and then we have some online questions which we will deal with.
You want to point to the class that I'm not sure.
I did not. I don't have a recording of it. Yeah. You can search on my YouTube channel if you can find it. I gave a 10-15 minute class one day on Shivaratri on the position of Lord Shiva. If you can find it, you can get more from there. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have appreciation as well as a question. So wonderful class, Prabhu, such detailed and, very interesting and thought-provoking. Thank you so much. I gained so much, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah. Question is on the same line, what Prabhu was asking, but same line in terms of for the same text, 26 and 27. I know like we are not supposed to, or I'm not sure I know, but then I also want to have a clarification that we are not supposed to meditate on the universal form, right? Is my understanding correct?
We means we as in like
Devotees?
Vaishnava devotees?
Vaishnava devotees.
Yes,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Okay. The following one is, then I'll kind of ask the next question then based on that. So universal form, I'm trying to put my thoughts together here. So does Krishna show or appear as a universal form? I know in this particular text, as you mentioned, it says that he's showing that, everything is residing in me and then time I am, So sorry, somebody was calling me. So I was thinking, so in the battlefield, like, Krishna, Arjuna saw everybody from the battlefield, Krishna going towards or in Krishna's mouth, right? I believe. So, and there were
saw or Arjun saw, you're saying? Because
Arjun saw.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody going into Krishna's mouth. Yes.
Right. So in the battlefield, also like there were like yodhas and acharyas and gurus who were so pious. So how do we understand, like, again, as I say, I'm saying that I'm trying to put my thoughts together. Like, how do we so can we say that, again, this is universal form. I know it's a material kind of a form, right?
Yes, material form
Yeah.
of Lord, not material form of Lord Vishnu, but the material world as Lord Vishnu's form, as one of Lord Vishnu's form. Lord Vishnu is more than this, but this is where Lord is showing his Vishwarupa form, or as he manifests in the material world. He is more than that, but the universal form is his manifestation within the material world. Okay. So the question is like, if everybody is dying or...
Yeah, everybody's dying, and then the pious people, like, so devotees are also pious, right? So after death, I should not say life after death, but then how do we see, we going to Goloka Dham, when we leave our body? How do we kind of, do we have any, does this has any correlation, or like how?
Okay, I must confess I'm not fully understanding the question, because everybody who died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, everyone, every single one, including Karna and Drona, I am not mentioning Bhishma specifically because Srimad Bhagavatam clearly says, and he did not die on the battlefield, he died later because he had Ichha Mrityu, and then he was waiting actually for Lord Krishna to come. This is all there in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 9th chapter. 43rd verse is where he, looking at Lord Krishna, he closes his eyes. So anyway, all the others who actually died on the battlefield went to the spiritual world.
Okay.
So they were all very lucky. Yes, the gateway to reach there includes death. Death is the gateway. But having a material body, and death again is of the body, not of the soul. We read that in 2nd chapter itself, right in the beginning. So what is the problem in death? death is just like a changing of clothes.
Right.
And ultimately, everybody went to the spiritual world, to Vaikuntha Lok, on the whoever was killed on the battle of Kurukshetra. They were all incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
Even the non-pious, and I'm saying the non-pious, the pious, the devotees were definitely, they were anyway, one way or the other, they would have had to die anyway, but they would have gone to Vaikuntha one way or the other, wherever they died. Because the other people, even the demons, even the bad guys, evil guys, because they died on the same place where Lord Krishna was seen by them, even though they did not know that he is Krishna, they all went to the spiritual world. So,
Okay.
so what? Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you did answer my question, kind of. So Pralaya has nothing to do with Krishna's universal form, right, Prabhu? Or
Pralaya,
he
so
takes his
Pralaya is
form
the
again.
destruction. So this material world undergoes cycles of creation and destruction.
Mhm.
Pralaya, the technical word pralaya, is the destruction phase of this material world,
Right.
or of a given material universe. Every night of Brahma, there is a partial pralaya, and at the end of Brahma's life, there is a complete pralaya where the universe completely ends, and all the jivas enter into the body of Mahavishnu, and then they come out in a different universe, which is created, and universes are just being created like bubbles in an ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. I just made some statements. I hope these were answers to your question.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. So we will take some more questions which came in online, and I will show the screen here. And it is 6:50. We will go on for maybe 10 extra minutes. So till 7:10, I'll try to answer these questions. Where is it? Okay. Very interesting question, and a very common question, and a question resulting from. Oh, sorry. Am I sharing on Zoom?
No, Prabhu, we are not able to see. I'm not able to see.
Okay.
Yes,
Where is this? Now you can see?
yes.
Give me 1 second. So few sessions ago, I mentioned that few Atmas rebelled against God, that led them to leave the spiritual world and come to this material world. Why they rebelled? One question. Why did they rebel? Or there are philosophical answers to this. Okay. And so if they came from spiritual world, they came here. Now we say you go back to spiritual world. Correct? So then again you can rebel. Sometimes we see, एक बार से समझ में नहीं आता है ना, एक बार गलती करके. So why can't you come back again? Okay, if 2 times is not enough, then why not 3? And by extending that logic any number of times. So the question is the spiritual world really permanent, or is it temporary? What are we aiming for? No. Yeah, but is there a permanent place? So in Bhagavad Gita, if you open 18.22, sorry, 8.22, not 18. What does it say there? Please read. Sorry, not 8.22. 8.21. Last line. What it says? Yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Na nivartante. Are you following? 8.21. Yat prapya. This is talking about spiritual world. Yat prapya. Upon attaining spiritual world, na nivartante. One does not come back. Tad dham paramam mama. That dham, topmost dham, is my abode, my home. Another same verse, very similar, 15.6. Please open. Two places in Bhagavad Gita. 15th chapter is very, very important chapter. What does it say? Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha. Let me share actually, so it gets recorded. Hmm. 15.6, very important verse. Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha. That place that doesn't require sun or moon for being illuminated. Yad gatva na nivartante. Tad dham paramam. Yad gatva, upon going there, one never returns. See Srila Prabhupada's purport here. I just want to point out where it says, please pay attention. As long as a living entity in this dark material is in this dark material world, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, okay, sky, spiritual sky, again, it's just English. By cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of coming back here. No chance. It's one-way ticket. Not only one-way ticket, the door closes behind you. Then why do I say? Are you following? Very clear. Siddhanta is very, very clear. So what is the meaning of what I said? Did you get the question?
So these souls that returned, then they did not return from that ultimate place.
I'm explaining. Not done yet. So please pay attention. This is a very important Siddhanta to understand. And it's a very misunderstood Siddhanta as well. And I will try to explain it as best as possible. And I will tell you why I'm saying as best as possible. Okay. Partly it is my deficiency, partly it is your deficiency. Both. Let me explain. So then the question arises, when did I fall from the spiritual world? Related question, huh? When? Can you give me a date? Is it in BC or AD? Okay, BC. How much BC? 10,000 BC, million years BC, billion, zillion, trillion. How many? When? Give me a date. If I go there, let's say in some future, will I fall again? When will be my last fall? Or when will I fall again? Again, when will be my last fall? Then I will never, yad gatva na nivartante. What is going on? Right? Have I confused you? So please realize one thing. In all these questions, the way I have formulated the question, can you all see that all these questions, there is one common aspect in all these questions, which is time. Isn't time a factor in all these questions? Tell me when I first fell. There was a first. Then there is a second. When will I go back? Then when will I fall again? The word again means what? There is time. Then again, third time, fourth time, fifth time. There has to be time involvement in all of these questions, correct? Without time, this question doesn't loses ground. Let me confuse you more. It is confusing. Time only exists in the material world. Kala is a material entity. It's not spiritual. It only exists in the material world. Another thing, maybe I have mentioned this in previous classes. We have these planetary systems, correct? We are at Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, then Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji resides. Time, passage of time, this is coming from our Vedas. Bhagavatam was, even printed copies of Bhagavatam were there even at least 200 years ago. At least, of course, Bhagavatam has been there for 5,000 years. Time slows down as we go up in the material hierarchy. Bhagavatam says that directly. And also it is the upper planets are heavier. Planet, when I am saying planet, it's not like Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, planet. Planet means a heavenly body. It could very well be a star, neutron star. I don't know what is Swarga, what physics name to give to it. I don't know. It is some cosmic place. Physics says also that with heavier, the closer you are to a heavier place, time slows down. Bhagavatam also says this. This law was only discovered and many people were just like fell from their chair 100 years ago only. Only 100 years ago this was discovered. And this was a revolutionary, groundbreaking fall off the chair discovery. Not a minute discovery how to make lithium ion battery. Okay, you already had nickel metal hydride. Now you made lithium ion. Fine, big deal. You can recharge it better. He also got Nobel Prize. Einstein also got Nobel Prize, but that Nobel Prize was way different than this little one. Do you agree?
But he didn't get the Nobel Prize for the...
We know he got it for photoelectric effect and he was super mad about it and didn't even attend the ceremony. He said, hell with you. You don't know what to give a Nobel Prize to me for. He had made a promise to his wife. I am going to win the Nobel Prize. All the money that I get will come to you. Please divorce me. So then she agreed to divorce. All right. He was so sure he was going to get it. But he just got it a few years late and that itself hurt his ahankar. Anyway, so my point is that our Vedas said that the higher up you go, time slows down. 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, last few chapters, you will see this story of King Kukudmi, or his another name was Raivata, King Raivata. He had a daughter Revati. He goes to Brahmaji, to his planet. They could do this kind of travel, planetary travel, wormhole. And said, please find a nice groom for my daughter Revati. But he was like, for 20 minutes, he was in a concert. I'll come. 20 minutes he waited. Then he went to him and said, and then, he gave a list of shortlist. These are the people I have shortlisted. If you find somebody suitable for my daughter, please suggest. Brahmaji started laughing. Why are you laughing? It's not a joke. I mean, these are seriously good people. He said, by the time you were waiting, all these people are gone. Because your 20 minutes in my planet are like eons on your planet. Not only have they gone, their histories have also gone. Their histories have also been, have died, which means it's such a long time that they have been gone, that their histories are also gone. Can you imagine? So let me tell you a suitable, by the time you go back there, Balramji will appear. You marry your daughter to him. Now this was the sort of the story behind it, but from these little verses, we can see that this deep science is there in our Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas is not to make us scientists, but just from the explanation we can understand. Now, 200 years ago, if you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will say, oh, what is all this bullshit? Nonsense. The Vedas, throw them away. time different. Now we say, oh my God, Vedas have so much. So anyway, the point is the more higher you go, time travels slower in Swargaloka and even slower on Brahmaloka because it is higher. Very, very slow. Now, if you keep going higher from the material world, where do you reach? The covering of the material world. Time literally stops. If you think of it like a clock, I'm talking to the potential physicist here. The clock starts ticking slower, 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 and it stops. There is no concept of time outside the material world. One point I wanted to mention, that's all. Okay. Can you, now let me ask you this question. Can you imagine a world without time? What does it mean? A world without time. What can it be? Can you imagine?
It actually happens in the middle of the black hole. The clock stops ticking.
The clock stops ticking. That's theoretical understanding we have. But can you imagine a vibrant world where there is no concept of time? Yes, clock stops ticking. That's like you take out the battery of a clock. That clock over there also doesn't tick because we haven't changed the battery for many years. Any Sunday you will come, it will show the same time. So that clock has also stopped ticking. Although how clocks in our houses don't tick because we never changed the battery. So what is the meaning of a world without time? So please think about that question. We can go deeper into this discussion, but I'll fast forward a little bit. Another point is that the jivas are never created. Jiva in 13th chapter, 13th verse, if you want, you can open, is anadi. This Geya, Anadi Mat Param Brahma. So this Anadi, Jiva is Anadi. Do you see second line or the third line, 13.13c, going by our notation? Do you see the word Anadi? Anadi ka kya matlab hota hai? No beginning. Ananta is the opposite, not opposite, the other end of the spectrum. Ananta means no ending. So Anadi Ananta. Jiva is Anadi, no beginning. Anyway, so what is the meaning of no beginning? That is also correct because there is no time and Jiva is eternal. Jiva is not material. Spiritual entity, the Jiva, Jivatma, is eternal. How can it have a beginning? How can it have a point of time when it begins? Now, we do not know anything in this material world that does not have a beginning. Everything has a beginning. Everything you can date it back. Even the Big Bang had a beginning some 13.8 billion years ago. Even physics says that if you read this book called, I'm not a physicist, but I'm good enough, whatever. There is this book written by another very big Nobel laureate, Sheldon, and another one, what's his name? The book's name is First 3 Minutes. In the first few nanoseconds, even time did not exist. Time started, the physics book says, right after Big Bang. One of the questions physicists are dealing with is what happened before Big Bang. Half the physicists say that question is grammatically incorrect. It's grammatically incorrect question. What do you mean before Big Bang? Time started after the Big Bang. So what do you mean before? The time scale, there was no time before that. So what do you mean before? The word before itself is a illegal grammar. Okay. So jivas are anadi. Grapple with that first. Before asking this question, when did we fall? When will we go back? Will we fall again? We are now talking about inter-spiritual to material world transfer. Okay. Without having this basic understanding of what does it mean for a world to exist where there is no time. Jiva is anadi. When did Jiva begin to exist? It did not begin to exist. It is anadi. It just stays with that. You have to grapple with that. Even I do not know the answer. I'm telling you, even I do not know the answer. And I have asked some very serious, scholars of the Vedas, very serious and advanced scholars. They say that the Vedas stop there. Jiva is anadi, beginningless. Another point, Jiva is the tatastha shakti. Tatastha shakti. Kind of like a tongue twister. Tat. Tat kisko kehte hain? Shore, bank. Of what? Bank? Bank of America? Bank? What bank? River. Which means it is the boundary of water and land. That is a shore. That's the boundary line or the border line of water and land. Tatastha Shakti, which means it is on the Tatastha. It is stha means sthit. Like we read that word, no? Ekastham, in one place, show me the material world today, 11th chapter, right? Tatastha. It is situated on the Tata. So we don't know when, but in its pure state, that's where it existed. That is where it existed. And then I'm giving you the understanding, the best understanding that I have. Out of its free will. Now the question that was asked was, what was the reason for rebel is unknown. That was the question. Free will. We have free will. Now you can choose your free will one way or the other. Completely freely. That's the purpose of free will. Okay, if I put a gun on your head and say, whatever in the movies you have to say, say, then he will say that. Is there freedom in that? No, it's under duress, we'll say. Then the hero will send us duress signal. So it's under duress, it's not free. So free will means completely free one way or the other. And the moment out of the free will, the jiva on that tata, there, right there itself, again, we don't know, there's no time here in this. If he looks towards the spiritual world, looks means not like look as in like north or south or east or west. Looks means has a pravritti, has a inclination towards the spiritual world. Then he goes to the spiritual world. Never comes back. Or if he looks towards the material world, he gets attracted. But then the effort that he has to do to go back across that line is very little. The more you begin to get entrenched, now time is there, now everything is there in the material world. You begin to get entrenched. Think of it like a criminal. Every criminal starts by stealing $5. Then it's a journey to, let's say, becoming a serial killer. Okay, typically. Maybe somebody is a born serial killer or whatever, I don't know. I'm just giving you a potential analogy. So the amount of effort needed at that point is very less. And that experience, now this is called conditioning. Swabhava, material conditioning, which is known as swabhava. gunas begin to take over. So if you get ras in that, then you go deeper. This is nice. Let me go. $5 free. Next, $10. Very soon you're looting a bank. Or somebody may say, oh, $5, I got a slap on my wrist. Too bad. Let me never do it again. That is the conditioning. And then one can turn back and go to the spiritual world. No coming back still. So I hope you're getting a sense of what I'm trying to say. And these understandings that I'm giving you, again, this is a fast class. Falling and all are certain language that is used to explain a concept. But yes, it's a very nice question that if I fell, if I go back, what's the guarantee I'll not fall again? No fall. It's a one-way journey. Okay. Now I have also, again, we started at what, 6:50? It is 7:15 now. I have been talking about this topic for what, 25 minutes? 25 minutes only I have talked. It is just not possible to give you this answer in 25 minutes. So please don't think, oh, these 25 minutes now have got the whole Siddhanta. Okay, there may be some mistakes in what I have told you or some other counter questions and all that. If you really are interested in understanding this question of what is the position of a jiva, how it gets entangled, how it goes back, are deep questions. These are questions that are more complex than the most complex quantum mechanics that one can imagine. How long it takes to understand or master that? How long it takes? 25 minutes? You can't even read one page in 25 minutes. Your head will hurt. Similarly, to understand this Siddhanta for a very, very dedicated person, it takes a long time. And this is not bhakti, by the way. This is just Veda Gyan, Veda Adhyayan. You cannot see Krishna by this Gyan. But you can get some Siddhantic understanding, but still it takes a long time, 20, 30 years of serious study. Okay. How long it took to build that LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. They have two, one in Louisiana, one in here, Washington State. We visited that as soon as it was built, before they discovered the first one. Because my children, family are physics buffs. So some 10 billion taxpayer dollars plus 10 years of work plus 500 physicists were needed to build that thing. How much brain power was used just to detect some gravitational wave? So it requires some serious study. It requires prerequisites. And also, if you add bhakti to it and ask Krishna, what does Krishna say? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. 10.10. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Then Bhagawan will say, Acha, tumko you want to learn this? I'll give you. Like Arjuna, just now, he wanted to see how many of us can say that I will build an instrument to see the whole cosmic manifestation. Not possible. We took like this James Webb telescope was delayed by 10 years. Finally, it launched. 10 years delay. So many taxpayer dollars. And just to see some small portion of the cosmic manifestation. But Arjuna could just ask Krishna, just show me the whole thing. No need of James Webb. Just bhakti, Krishna will show. So if you add bhakti, you can ask Krishna anything. So that could be the way or some serious study for a long time. Otherwise, expecting that Bhagavad Gita will just, or some, 25-30 minutes will give us an answer to this very complex question in a way that, so therefore, the answer will always be dumbed down. Okay. Always. If I give you two, let's say two graphs, area under graph. You all understand area under graph? How do you calculate area under graph? What?
Integration.
Integration. ये क्या होता है? Integration ये कहाँ? क्या चीज है ये?
Oh, this is part of calculus, right? That's what
क्या? Part of?
calculus.
Calculus. Calculus क्या होता है?
Field of mathematics.
मैं? We are like illiterate people. You are trying to tell me integration. So, what will you tell an illiterate person? How do you find area under graph? Or let's say two graphs. Which one is bigger? You know the layman method?
I like the area under the graph and find out which one is bigger.
Area कैसे पता चलेगा? So you take rice grains. You fill it up. Pack it nicely, fill it up to the two areas. Then weigh the two rice, then pour it into a scale, weigh which one was higher. That area is bigger. How about that method? Sounds good? No inti, no cal, no nothing. So if you are telling integration calculus, you have to first learn pre-calculus. Then you have to learn algebra 2, algebra 1, blah, blah, blah. It requires 6-7 years of study before you can understand area under the curve. Otherwise, it will sound like inti and cal. So what will you tell such a person? Now, if you tell this rice method to a mathematician, he will laugh. Correct? What is this? Primitive. But if you want a 20-minute answer, that's all you will get. If you want to study for 10 years, then you can get integration, you can get calculus, you can get a definite integral, indefinite, blah, 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 all areas under graph. You can do numerical method for more, complex curves. You can do all kinds of differential analysis and, you can do everything you want. But 25-minute answer will contain that. It will contain some simplifications. So please try to keep that in mind. Another important, I know we are going way over, so please feel free to drop. We have completed chapter 11. I'll continue on this question. There's another follow-up question to this, which I will take next week. But I want to complete this question. This is another important point for not only the person who asked this, but for all of us. Okay. Suppose you are able to resolve this paradox. Suppose that how can I imagine a world without time? Correct? That's what was the first question. Suppose I'm able to resolve it in my head after 15 years of study or whatever, how much ever time it takes. Would you still want to go to that place?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Are you sure about that?
I am.
You may be, but I'm talking to that's why I said general. Let me ask you a question. Let me take you as the example, since you are saying.
By the way, you can blame me for that question that you showed her. I answered that question. So if you are not related.
No, okay.
I was trying to keep him anonymous. Anyway, because it's not important who asked, it's a very relevant question. I assert, and you cannot refute me because it's commonplace evidence. even in the material world, we tell people that if you want a better future in this material world itself, do certain things. Does everybody do that? For some of us, it's very obvious, like going to college. And especially for the Indian people and all. I have seen videos, like if you go to collegeboard.com, the first video you will see is, you must go to college. Half of their marketing is that you must go to college. Of course, they are doing that because then you have to take SAT, and everybody who takes SAT, they get $50 for that. So they want as many people to take SAT because they make money. That's their business. But anyway, they are trying to convince you to go to college, which means there's a whole mass of people. In India, this may not be very obvious, but here you will see so many, like, college? What college? Why you have to go to college? I'm 18 years old. I have completed high school. Good enough for me. I will have a good life. You have to convince people to do some hard work. But is it good for their life if they do college in general? Yes. And why are we having to convince them? Are you seeing my point? That's something which to some people may seem super obvious. For some other people may need a lot of convincing to go through, and still they may not do it. So my point is, it's not a slam dunk that you show them a very convincing argument and they will follow. What are the reasons? Some obvious reasons. Laziness. I don't know about that one, how to work that into the answer. But attachment to temporary pleasures. Why work for 4 years, give exams, tests? I have had enough of it. K through 12. 4 more years? Are you like kidding me? Buzz off. I'm happy. So attachment to temporary pleasures. Doubts. Oh, I have my friend. He started college, but then he was kicked out. You have these aberrations like Vishwamitra. Oh, he was such a great Muni, but he saw a woman and then he, left off. Mera bhi yahi hoga. Why bother? What will you call such a person? Intelligent or foolish? Just by seeing one aberration, you're generalizing it. You're just finding an excuse. This is called, what is called in psychology? Looking for examples that reinforce your confirmation bias. One example, and that's the biggest example for you. The statistic of 99.999% people who went through college successfully, you are completely oblivious to it. So that all these reasons, people don't put in the effort. Yes, bhakti requires effort, or any spiritual process. Bhakti is the easiest and the best, but it is not a walk in the park. Definitely it is not walk. It is the easiest, but it is not zero. So it's not a walk in the park. It requires effort. And if you say, there are so many people who will confirm by doing bhakti, and so many examples are there, not only in the Shastra, but in our recent, contemporary history, people who have come out successful of that college. Our acharyas, our saints, they are the graduates of this college, Bhakti college. So, it's the same argument. It's basically, end of the day, same argument. So do you see the point? Mm-hmm. You may say, yes, I'll be convinced. So you are a good student who you college board marketing worked for you. But there are so many whom it doesn't. Why? It's a true thing. They'll have a good future, but they still don't take it. So my point is, it's not a slam dunk. Okay. So all these things should be considered before saying that. So we should approach this topic with a little bit of humility and try to step back and see how we are equating, or how we are, with what are we equating it? You will find more correct mapping than the incorrect ones. Like we'll discuss this next time, like show me the proof. Proof is there. We have so many people who have successfully gone through this. But then there you see around a large mass of people who are unwilling to take that step. But if you step back and look, so it happens in the material world too. So that's not a good argument for saying that this is wrong. So like that, we must understand, and we'll discuss more about this topic and a related question next time. Okay, so sorry for going for another half an hour, but officially the class was over. Sorry for keeping you back here. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry for keeping everybody waiting.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.